request, how do you action? Do you respond? Is there a user change request form that is filled? Because that must be part of the controls.
When they make the request and the request is approved, they are able to see it in their screen, the person with that right. I think the reader can...
So why do you make them right when you do not commit anything on your part as National Treasury?
Of course, the letter is marked for action to a certain officer, and once that one is done, a communication is made through the IFMIS. If the person with the rights check the screen, he will be able to see that the rights have been given, and they can print that.
Dr. you are there. I think the Treasury is failing counties. Any change in access rights, ideally in a properly in a proper ICT governance environment, if you're going to change me from an ordinary user to a super user, there's always a change request form. And that happens even in small organizations, perhaps even in the Office of the Auditor General. So if those persons whose names were on that letter, they wanted them to have higher rights than what they already have, ideally there's supposed to be a change management procedure or a change request form. So I think on this matter, let's have a conversation to find out what the Treasury ought to do, the controls that need to be in the system, what the COB needs to do, and then we can have a holistic proposal, but it does not take away the fact that this 15 billion, in terms of voided transactions, is a smoking gun. And we might want to ask people with greater capacity to find out whether those voided transactions, it was meant to defeat the Office of the Control of Budget. But I think there's something the Treasury ought to do. There's something that needs to be put in the system, but there's also some duty of care on the part of the county.
Chair, point of information, if you will allow me, sir.
Senator.
And it will take me 2 seconds. Chair, I've done a lot of research on this matter, and the information I've been given is that voiding of transaction is deliberate. Normally, you will find the original budget would have been tampered with, so that when the payments are going to be made, the reason why anybody would void that transaction is because they want somebody else to be paid instead of who had been given the code number to be paid.
Chair, can I make a request on behalf of the people of Nairobi? Because I can see time is moving, and that there are very critical items in this report that I had hoped at least to hear from the county government. I have pointed out some of them. I just request that you prioritize them in the interest of time, so that at least there can be a conversation around projects as well.
Okay, so then let's get out of this.
Yeah, but you've really awakened my mind when you mentioned the date and what it was close to. Possibly this was being voided to defeat me, in August 2022. If the allusion is towards the election time, August.
Are you saying you are supposed to be paid from that?
That money went to, yeah.
But I think the information you can get, Chair, because I understand the argument and I can see there's concurrence. Also, look at just the statements, the bank statements in that period about the amount of money paid out from the county. You can be able to get that. You can provide that. So CBK, and you'll see. One thing, for instance, Chair, that I'd like to just bring to your attention. Every year, on top of avoiding this, there's supposed to be refreshing of IFMIS users. That all users on IFMIS are removed, and then new ones are assigned. I found 2,000 users on IFMIS. Chair, 2,000. 2,000 what? 2,400 IFMIS users for Nairobi County.
Yes, even dead people.
Even dead people who've moved. And so I removed all of them just this last financial year so that every sector can have the specific number required with the different stages. But you can imagine 2,400 users. And that time, you remember, procurement was also manual. So procurement is manual. You have all these users hanging around in cyber saying, "What nikufinye, payment yako," That is why I left this Senate to go to become governor of Nairobi to sort out these things. Because that was the situation. You cannot have all those users. Somebody can create a procurement process from scratch at River Road. Get an LPO, you create even things that are not even on budget until the delivery note is done. Today, we're on e-procurement. Everything from the beginning to the end has to go through that process. And if there must be an exemption in situations where you need to do it manually, it must be approved in cabinet.
Governor, let's leave it there. I think we've got a live matter that the Eacc, and I think it's in court, must have been in Kilifi, where the persons with rights to the system created transactions and made payments in the middle of the night because of unfettered rights in the system. So there must be a conversation around that, using the Kilifi case as an example and the Nairobi case. So I think members will have to deliberate on this and maybe come up with some proactive recommendations. The next one is irregularities in procurement of transferred services.
Yes, so that is not lost on you. On that one, there's a question that Treasury must answer. Because automatically they should remove these users. What was happening with Nairobi?
No, we
come to that.
We agree with you. And that's why I said there's something for CAB to do, something for Treasury to do, and something for the county to do. The next issue is irregularities in procurement of transferred services. And I think the key question the Auditor General is asking is that while health was transferred, the county still made an award for supply of drugs for 75 million to 2 companies, but the supporting documents have not been provided. Governor, your response on record does not answer the query by the Auditor General. You are saying it was a pending bill to KEMSA incurred by Nairobi City County. Give us the details of what was supplied. Give us the details of the invoices. Give us the details of the payment vouchers. Otherwise, we will say that this money of 75.9 million was stolen.
CFO?
Chairman, we tried sourcing for support documentation on the payments cited by the auditors, but we could not, these documentations were not availed to us, and therefore we will leave this matter to the committee for further guidance.
So this looks like theft of 75.9 million under the guise of medical supplies, and we shall be asking the Eacc to be with us on this so that this money is recovered. Dr. Munywa?
Allow me to explain this. It is not upon the committee to declare a loss. Financial loss is supposed to be declared by the user department, the county government in this case, so that they are themselves who are supposed to initiate recovery of that money and declaration of loss, so that if they cannot be able to recover the cost entirely, PFM is very clear. They should look for the person who occasioned it through the security agencies.
I agree with you, Dr. We shall direct the county executive to take measures to recover the lost funds. I think that's how we should frame it. It is a county executive to take measures for recovery. The same way we said for the NHIF insurance payment. It is upon them to initiate. I think I don't want us to go into the next issue is misallocation of expenditure and reconciled bank balances